Reality Check, and today we have got Angus with us.
Hello.
Hello Angus, is a magician and a mind reader, and he's going to be showing us some stuff today. So first of all, Angus, before we go into the radio show, I just wanted to know if you wanted to share with people what kind of things we were looking to be discussing on the Reality Check today.
Yeah, well, obviously I'll be talking to you about my journey, how I got into magic, but more importantly, how magic helped me. I'm autistic and ADHD, and as well as obviously being a magician, I'm also an advocate for autism awareness and mental health, and motivational speaker as well. And my aim is always around, raising as much awareness for autism and mental health as possible. I'm always looking to share these sorts of things with the world, so obviously we'll be talking about how magic helps me and what I've done over the years, that sort of thing. But more than anything, it's about giving advice to those on the spectrum, giving advice to those battling mental health, and raising as much awareness as possible, and that's my aim.
Fantastic. We're really excited to be able to give you the platform to do that today. Is there any way that people can follow you or contact you? Have you got a tag or something that people can follow?
On Facebook, I'm Angus Baskerville Magic. Instagram as well, Angus Baskerville, but Angus B Magician 1 is what people follow me on. And my website is www.angusbaskerville.com. But in general, if you search me, Angus Baskerville, on any social media, they'll find me.
Brilliant, fantastic. I'm really excited to see what you talk about on the show, but maybe we can see something now, and maybe that's the best way to show what it is that you're capable of doing.
Yeah, no, we can do that. That sounds brilliant.
Fantastic, I'm excited.
Right, so first things first, one of the tricks I always love to use in my act is Rubik's Cube. Because Rubik's Cubes actually help represent general life. Life is a puzzle, and perhaps not all meant to solve it in one go, but piece by piece, just like a Rubik's Cube. But if you help me mix this up, I want you to say stop whenever you like.
Okay.
Just like that.
Stop.
What, sorry? Stop.
Stop.
Oh, okay. Now watch. I end up mixing you a bit more now. But if you watch the cube slowly, when it comes to solving it, it's all about believing in yourself, and you can solve it just like that.
Well, that was great.
Now, do you know what that's called?
No.
It's called showing off.
Oh.
But if we take it one step further, you might notice I've also got some cards with me.
Yeah.
Cards are where all magicians start. My journey began with a pack of cards, and so have all my inspirations and admirers over the years. All the magicians I've seen, they always started with cards. So I'm going to show you a demonstration right now.
Okay.
So Nigel, what I'm going to need you to do to help me to start with, can you think of any playing card? Don't make it an obvious card like an ace of spades or something like that. Think of any random playing card, and let me know when you got one.
Got it.
Okay, I will ask you for it at the very end, and you can change your mind as we go along.
No, I've got it, I'll stick with it.
But I'm going to leave this pack of cards just there, we'll come back to that later. As for you, obviously, you can see, obviously these cards are all different. You're going to choose a random card by chance, basically.
Okay.
Now, of course, you're choosing one by choice, you're thinking of one. You're going to choose one by chance.
Okay.
So as I riffle down the pack, can you please say stop?
Stop.
Stop right here. Okay, you stop me at this card, we'll let everyone have a look.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Let the camera see.
Got it.
Perfect. Now don't forget it. All I need you to do is think of your card.
Okay.
Because my job now is to read your mind and write down what I believe you're thinking of on this. So before I do that, if I was going to read your mind from a psychological point of view, I want you to name a random letter of the alphabet. Now, don't make it too obvious. Like if your card is an ace, for example, don't name the letter A because that might be a bit obvious.
Okay.
But when you're ready, can you name any random letter? And Nigel, can you name any number between 1 and 100?
Okay.
So
L.
L. L for light.
Light.
And
64.
64. So L64.
Right.
Okay. Well, that doesn't tell me much about your card, but anyway, I want you to think of your card now. So look at me. I'm going to try and write it down. Bear with me. Oh, sorry, no, I've got it wrong. Keep thinking of it for me. Okay, I think. Okay, I might just about got it. I'll do the best I can. We're not going to look at that yet.
Okay.
Before we do anything, I want to show you all the cards inside this pack. But also, you might have noticed I never showed you the backs, did I? I never showed you the backs, did I? And that's because the back of every single playing card is marked with a random letter followed by a number between 1 and 100. Can you see that?
Yeah.
52 different cards, all of which are marked with 52 random letters of the alphabet, 26 times 2. And also, all of them have their own unique number.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you tell me for the first time, what was the playing card you thought of?
It was a 6 of spades.
Yeah, close enough, right?
Amazing, yeah.
Let the camera see
Exactly
that, 6
right.
of spades.
Wow.
But of course the 6 of spades will be somewhere in the pack, won't it?
Okay.
So, if we go and remove it. Oh yeah, there we go, there it is right there.
Okay.
You can
Will you
take it
take
out,
it?
but don't look at the back just yet. Can you quick recap? What was the letter you chose?
It's L.
L. And what was the number you chose?
64.
Do you want to turn it over?
Flip it over.
Yeah. Show it to the camera. L is 64. There we go.
No
Amazing.
way.
Keep that as a souvenir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very-
Amazing.
I don't know how you do that. Welcome to the Reality Check here on Revolution Radio, and we have got a magical show for you today, and I can actually feel the magic in the air. Got an amazing guest on today, a professional magician with a huge story behind it all, which we're going to come across and speak to Angus in a short while. But as usual, let's go over to the captain of the chair. How's it going, my friend?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good week?
Yeah, really good week, really busy. I've been all over the place.
You have. You've been. Was it Grimsby?
I've been to I've started the day in Grimsby today. I've had 3 trains to get back
Wow.
to Northampton. So yeah, it's good to be back.
Good to be back, but busy and enjoying it all.
Yeah, loving it. Yeah, I've started this. I think I mentioned on the show a few weeks ago. I'm starting a new kind of little job doing driving, which I love driving, and I get to drive all these different cars and deliver them. So I was delivering a car up to the British car auctions up in Grimsby. Massive. It was just a massive car park with a load of transporters on it, but it's quite fun.
Do you know what I love about it? I really do love about it. This is the whole thing for me, is people finding things that they love doing.
Yeah, like it does not feel like work.
That's right.
Yeah.
And getting paid for it.
I know, it's great.
Phenomenal. We're going to come across, and I'm going to introduce our guest to the show today. Angus Baskerville, first and foremost, welcome to the Reality Check here on Revolution Radio. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm fantastic, thank you. Now, I've introduced you as a professional magician because that's what it is that you do. Tell everybody and explain, what is it that a professional magician does?
Yeah, I mean, I perform magic at weddings, corporate events, private parties, functions, promotions, any event large or small. I also run magic clubs for children regularly at schools, and I've done stage shows over the country as well. I performed on stage in London, Edinburgh Fringe, Ventnor Fringe. That explains roughly professional magician point of view.
Wow, because you have done, you blew my mind earlier on this afternoon, and you were doing some of your stuff, and I know that with the rest of the team here, we had a little example of what you can do, and it is phenomenally good. How long have you been doing this?
I've been studying magic and performing for 10 years now, actually. 10 years this month. But I've only been doing it for a business for 8 years, and it was only August 2022 when I quit my day job to go full-time magic. So it's been a year and a half of being a full-time pro. Wow. So, and I'm assuming that the business is going really well. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, since I obviously went full-time, I've been I took up a new role of running regular after-school and lunchtime magic clubs for children at schools, which obviously keeps me very busy during the week. I've obviously been doing a lot more events. I employ 2 people on my team now. So yeah, things have obviously picked up massively since I went full time.
Wow, and so you've got 2 people that are working with you as well.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing. Now, it is fantastic, and where you are, you say that you're living the best life ever, and you love what it is that you do. Being a magician is just a very small part of you and what you do, because you do lots of other things, paying it forward for other people, because you have ADHD and autism, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you are really, really proud and happy to go and share this with as many people as you can, because you want to support other people in similar circumstances?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've never had a problem, obviously, being open and honest about, autism and ADHD, because obviously one of the main reasons I quit my day job to go full-time magic is because something else I really wanted to, take a big leap forward in was actually raising as much awareness as possible for autism and ADHD, and actually doing motivational speaking about it.
If I take you back, when did you first start, for you as an individual, understand or start to think there is something a little different to me?
Yeah, the weird thing was, I first started showing signs of autism at the age of 3, and my family and I just moved to South Africa at that point. And the problem was, South Africa are very behind in terms of their knowledge of autism.
Okay.
So my parents were unable to get me formally diagnosed until we came back to the UK at the age of 15. And that's when I was formally told I had it, and that's when obviously it all started to make sense. I obviously did struggle severely through in South Africa. Obviously, school was my biggest challenge and everything like that.
What was it like? So because there's going to be lots of our listeners, adults, young people that have not been diagnosed yet, and so what kind of things for you were you going through?
Yeah, well, basically, I was always known by everyone at school as the naughty one. I was always labelled as the odd child, the stupid child, the naughty one, and that made me a very easy target for bullies. I was being bullied,
Okay.
and half the time I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't have the ability to ask for help. So the only way I could ever feel I could express my emotions was by, acting out, to the point where, I was self-harming, I was running away, started to experience extreme suicidal thoughts, that sort of thing.
Wow. And what age was this then, Angus?
This was I started from the age of 3 to 15.
Wow.
It was between those ages. But obviously, it was only when I got a formal diagnosis when I was able to get the help and support I needed. But that's when I was actually finally able to feel understood.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, actually, feel like actually people were listening. People actually cared about me, that sort of thing, if it all makes sense. But that I was only able to get the help once I was diagnosed. And obviously, it was very hard before I was diagnosed because I didn't know what it was. And when people label you as stupid or odd, that generally causes extreme mental health problems.
Of course.
And because obviously without a formal diagnosis, it's very difficult to get any support, like extra support at school, for example. All my parents could do was move me to another school. And by the time we left South Africa in 2011,
Yeah.
I'd attended 13 different schools.
13 different schools.
Wow.
Was
Yeah.
that because you were finding it difficult to fit in?
It was, yeah. But also, the bullying, I was kicked out of 3 schools as well because no one understood me, etc.
Wow.
as well. So the only thing my parents could do is move me to another school. But from what I've come to realise, wherever you go, you take yourself with you. And the only time we ever did start to see improvements was when I was back in the UK
Wow.
and formally diagnosed. But like I said, I'd never be the one to sit here and play the victim about it. It's all about seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, because it's better to be diagnosed late than never, basically.
Absolutely.
But I'd recommend it sooner rather than later, because that way, people can understand you. And like I said, it does cause severe mental health problems when people label you as odd or stupid because you haven't been diagnosed, if that makes sense.
You are also an advocate. You go out there and you stand on stages, you give talks to people. You gave a talk to, was it Land Rover?
Jaguar Land Rover.
Jaguar Land Rover. So what kind of things, because what is that about for you? Why do you do that?
Yeah, well, basically, it's all about raising awareness for autism and mental health, which is what I've been passionate about, through my life, really. Because, obviously it was, I understand that it was obviously very difficult for me, especially not being diagnosed till much later. And obviously mental health, what I've realised, should not go hand in hand with autism. But as I said, lack of understanding of autism is a first-class ticket to serious mental health. And also, April 2022, I saw someone jump in front of a train. And that also massively triggered my interest to obviously raise awareness. Because, I still think about it every time I go back to the train station. But what I've come to realise is that it's very easy to have suicidal thoughts, but when you physically see someone do it, it very much makes you realise how horrible it looks.
Absolutely.
And also, I've been there myself. But, rather than dwelling on your past, see it as creating an opportunity. Take your broken heart and turn it into art. Because I understand a lot of what various people on the spectrum I know of right now are struggling with. I've got friends who are autistic. I teach a lot of kids at school who are autistic, and a lot of what I see, what they're going through, is obviously very familiar to what I went through. So, I want to obviously offer the advice. I want to try and raise awareness as much as possible, because that way, we can help more autistic people get jobs, because finding employment is something that's very difficult for people on the spectrum. Bullying at school is often something that a lot of people on the spectrum will become victims of.
Yeah.
And, I'm really looking to change that. So rather than dwelling on my past, I want to take it and turn it into an opportunity and, raise awareness. And, that way, hopefully, people won't have to go through the sort of thing that I went through. And that's also one of the reasons I go into schools, because I want to introduce children to that unique skill that they can use to go out and impress their friends and family with, because I know how much magic helped me. So it feels great, obviously, being able to raise awareness. But like I said, what I aim to do more than anything is, help improve people's mental health, and also, help encourage people on the spectrum to find their passion, help inspire parents, that sort of thing. Because, you could be saving someone's life, but also you could be helping someone, really thrive for their potential, if that all makes sense.
It absolutely makes sense, and I think that for me, and I know it's going to be the same for Glenn and Amy, this is music to our ears. Because another question that sprung into my mind, excuse me, as you were saying all of that, I know that you've had negative experience, particularly in the construction industry, where you actually was employed shortly for, and they didn't really support you as you needed supported. But how do you find when you're going out there? How are businesses now taking this on board?
Yeah, I mean, things are a lot better now than they were. And obviously, you know, once again, England is obviously much more aware of autism than South Africa was. But from what I've, according to various stats, it says that only 16% of autistic adults are in full-time employment, and around 40% of autistic adults who are working part-time want more hours. And nowadays, it's nowadays, I mean, I'm only saying from obviously experience I know, so, you know, this is only my opinion.
Yes.
But it can be easy nowadays for, you know, an employer to just reject someone on the spectrum because, you know, they'd rather save themselves the effort. But, you know, when we actually do the job correctly, you know, when we know what we're doing, we can actually be really good at what we do. I know people on the spectrum who have been voted one of their best employees of the year.
Of course.
You know, it's just about giving them the chance, and, you know, you might have to adapt a bit to their learning, but, you know, when it's done correctly, you know, we can actually be a really good employer. You know, we just need to be given the opportunity. And when I was working on the building site, there was no support really. And I mean, the main talk I did at Jaguar Land Rover was especially around autism and employment, and, you know, how employers can make various adaptations to obviously, you know, take the autistic employee on board and get the best out of them.
I am really inspired here right now talking to you, Angus. It's like, it's really passionate that I'm feeling from you. It's passion that says we need to be living in a more open society where people understand that we've all got those differences, every single one of us. And you are one of those people that have come through the curveballs in life, you know, and gone out, because you went to university, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
And what did you go to university for?
I studied animal management at university, and originally my aim was to train assistance dogs, work for Dogs for Good or guide dogs, you know, train dogs to assist people who are blind or, you know, disabled, and also Dogs for Good also train people who are train dogs to assist autistic people as well. And that was the avenue I really wanted to go down, and I volunteered at both Guide Dogs and Dogs for Good. When I applied for my first job at Guide Dogs after university, I didn't get the job, and I ended up working in retail.
Okay.
But I mean, I was already doing magic at that point, and I was building up magic along the side. And yeah, like I said, it was only August last year, August 2022, when I went full time. So
yeah. So coming to you, just as a person, you know, putting all of the magic to one side if you can. I don't know whether you can or not because it's part of you, but what is the difference? Because I'm thinking of a lot of our listeners out there that may be in very similar situations to you prior to being diagnosed, or in fact being diagnosed and uncertain of the way forward. What is the difference for you now that you understand what it is and you can deal with that and you go and live the life that you're living? What is the difference now from before? Yeah,
well, I mean, the difference is now is obviously, since I obviously got diagnosed, you know, I feel I've been able to be myself a lot more. And I was only, as I said, I was only 15 when I got formally diagnosed, so I still wasn't 100% familiar with it all. But from what I've come to realise, at the end of the day, autism and ADHD does not define me. I'm not Angus the Aspie. You know, it just means we think differently. It just means we've got a different wiring of the brain. And I mean, you've got to see the positives of that. You know, that can be a gift more than anything.
Absolutely.
I would not be as good as my magic if it weren't for my autism, I don't feel. But the important thing is, you know, I feel I can be myself a lot more. I feel that I didn't feel I had to mask as much since I got diagnosed. And that is actually the key to obviously being happy. That is the key to so many different means of success. Because often people on the spectrum, and I mean, I'm a victim of this myself, but I know of loads of other people who have been as too and also still are.
Yes.
We'll go what we can find ourselves doing, especially in like jobs and that, is to go massively out of our way to try and blend in, fit in with the crowd, be like everyone else. But, you know, the important thing, you've got to let the autistic individual know, whether you're their teacher, their employer, you name it, you got to inform them that they can be their self regardless. Because why fit in when you were born to stand out? You just got to be yourself, because masking is very exhausting. And it can lead to all sorts of different problems. So that's what I really want to share.
I think that's so true, Angus, because what I see in you is obviously your story is that you've almost unlocked yourself by being yourself and harnessing your autism as a superpower to be able to go out and do what it is that you do. And like you say,
absolutely.
Like I mean, you've blown my mind. Like you have Nigel's with the tricks
the other
today, and when I met you, which I was like, we've got to get Angus on the show.
Well, when you first started to say to me, I have found somebody for the show, and you explained it all, and I've got to be very honest with you, and it's not just the magic, the energy that you are putting out here. It's like Glenn and I just keep smiling at each other.
Yeah,
you know,
because you're saying the things that this is what we're trying to do, is to be able to pay it forward and to be able to tell people out there that it's okay. We spend our whole time telling people to be the person that you are, regardless if you're, and you're just coming to echo all that.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic.
I mean, the other key as well that obviously I must mention is finding your passion, which is what also I'm always looking to encourage people to do. One of the other reasons I also do motivational speaking, etc., and run magic clubs at school is I want to encourage people on the spectrum, and also others as well, to find their passion and embrace it, because that also can create endless opportunities. But that also is the key to obviously finding your tribe, finding yourself, being happy, and it can help you in so many different ways. Because I found my passion, magic, at the age of 17, and here I am 10 years later. Not only has it massively helped me improve on my general life skills, I couldn't socialise, had no friends, highly sensitive, poor mental health before I found magic, but when I found it, and here I am now, not only has it massively helped me improve on my general life skills, it's given me a career opportunity. That can be anyone. You just got to find your passion and embrace it. Go where your heart takes you.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that's the key to so many different means of success as well. So that's also something I wanted to mention.
I want to take this opportunity to say thank you for coming onto the show. And
Thanks so much for having me.
You're very, very welcome. And I'm sure that is echoed through from Glenn and Amy too, because this is what it is that the reality check is about. It's about accepting that we all have our little things that we're dealing with, and how can we listen to other people like yourself and get that inspiration and motivation. So for me, there's a couple of questions that I've got, quite a few questions I've got to ask, but we are rapidly coming to the end of the show. But one of the questions that I was going to ask you is, you've been working for 15, 18 months now?
What is it, in full time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, yeah.
So what are your plans for 2024?
Yeah, I mean, I've already got a deal with Edinburgh Fringe. So I'm taking my show to Ventnor Fringe Festival, Isle of Wight, Edinburgh Fringe.
Okay,
Amazing.
hang on, right. So you go into the Edinburgh Fringe Festival?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, my future plans as well. I'm hoping to get on Britain's Got Talent as well, and also I want to perform my shows on cruise ships. See if I can tour my show elsewhere, but also I want to really launch into my motivational speaking business as well, and do a lot more talks, as well as obviously do a lot more schoolwork, and really raise the advocacy for autism side of things as well. But those are my plans for this. That's what I'm hoping to achieve this year, or next year at least. I
tell you what, we wish you all the best, and if we can be of any support to you in that adventure that you're going on, please do remind me on after the show. I've got a contact for you with the ships and the cruises.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
We can do that. So it just leaves me really to say thank you very much indeed. Is there any way that or anything that you would like to say to our listeners, directly to them, that maybe, going back to when you were sort of 15 and you first started to say, okay, is there anything that you'd like to say to them that might make a difference? Yeah,
I mean, well, firstly, I just want to say thank you to obviously all the listeners as well. But most importantly, don't ever feel ashamed to be open and honest about, your feelings. If you ever find yourself feeling different, or if you ever find yourself, struggling with things like mental health, the important thing to remember is you're not alone. But also, it is okay not to be okay. But the more open and honest you are about anything, whether it's because you're newly diagnosed or whether you find yourself struggling, the more open and honest you are, the more likely people will respect you for being honest. But also, it's the key to obviously getting the help you need. But like I said, just be yourself. Don't mask. Why fit in when you were born to stand out? You can achieve anything if you set your mind to it. So I want everyone to take that away from me more than anything.
I am going to use that. Why try and fit in? What's the word
why fit in when you were born to stand out?
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. Why fit in when you were born to stand out?
Yeah. And also one more thing I just must mention as well, when it comes to achieving goals as well, and this is something I explain a lot in my talks. I went from someone who couldn't socialise to performing magic performances all around the world in loads of different countries, loads of different places basically, where obviously I've been approaching complete strangers. When your passion and interest is there, it can give you such massive confidence boost to facing your fears. But something else I want you to remember more than anything when it comes to achieving your goals: you're braver than you believe, you're stronger than you seem, you're smarter than you think.
Thank you very much. Now, where can people get in touch with you?
Via my website, www.angusbaskerville.com, and on any social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, just search Angus Baskerville and I'll come up.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, thank you very, very much. And guys out there, take inspiration, take motivation, because anything is possible. Have a fantastic week, and we'll catch you next week. Ciao.
Wow, what a show. So that's all done now, but we've got our last little bit here, just in case there was anything you feel like you didn't get across. But how did you find the show, Angus?
Yeah, honestly, I feel obviously at times I thought, okay, I mean, I've got to try and dig deeper into this, but once I got going with answering the questions, I felt I knew what I was doing, and yeah, I mean, it was a great opportunity to obviously come to the show. So thanks again, obviously, for having me on. It was brilliant. I felt I did the best I could. I felt I got as much across as I could have done. So I think I did the best I could.
I really
That's
think
what I
you're
can
going to inspire a lot of people with the words that
Absolutely.
you gave everybody today.
Thanks
So
very
thank
much.
you so
That's what I
much
have
for
to do.
that.
Honestly, thank you.
I think there's something we missed though
Yes.
from earlier on.
So yeah, well, Amy, earlier on, obviously you chose a card, and obviously you chose a random letter, and of course I was able to predict that. Well, you were able to predict it as well as read your mind, but as well as having a card chosen by chance, which is what you did.
Yeah.
Of course, you chose a card by choice at the very beginning.
Yes.
And I asked you to think of it,
Yep.
but not tell anyone.
Yep.
And I do remember saying as well, and I'm sure you do as well, I said I wasn't going to ask you what your card was until the very end.
Yep.
But I did introduce this pack of cards, which was here right from the very beginning.
And it stayed there. It's not moved.
Excellent. Now, do you still remember your card?
I do.
Because currently you're the only one that knows it.
Yep.
I'm going to give you one more chance if you want to change your mind, or are you happy to name it right now?
I'm happy to name it right now.
Okay, so can you tell me and everyone here what was your card?
The 7 of Diamonds.
7 of Diamonds. Okay, so of course now we all know what card you were thinking of.
Yeah.
One more time, are you sure you want the 7 of Diamonds?
Definitely 7 of Diamonds.
Okay, well as I said, that's been here the whole time, hasn't it?
Yep.
Of course, if I spread through the cards, of course we always have the Joker there. Do you by any chance see one card the opposite way around? Because you might notice there's one card the other way. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Can the camera see this? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Thanks to your strong imagination, my dream has become reality. Because it's the 7 of Diamonds. Thank you so much. Amy, thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank
Nigel,
you
thank
for
you too.
coming.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Indeed.
Wonderful.
Good stuff.
Thank you so much.
Honestly, thank you.